Welcome, Taurus, to the month of July 2018. I'm Megan of North Star Astrology, and this is another general transits reading for those of you born with your sun, moon, and or rising signs in the second zodiacal sign of Taurus, the bull. See, with the horns in your glyph here. And because you are ruled by Venus, the planet of love, and because it is currently transiting your fourth house of the home, along with the north node of the moon in Leo and Mercury in Leo, this gives you a very romantic start to the month of July, to the month of July. We're in June. So now, to start out with, on July 1st, your ruling planet Venus opposes the moon. And as I always like to say, this is a 180-degree point of awareness, or the opposition here being from your ruling planet Venus to the moon. So from the 4th to the 10th houses, you have a delicious awareness to shed loving energy into your home versus what you can do to balance out your emotions toward your career. Maybe there is a home business, perhaps, for your career. Next, on July 4th, Independence Day, Pluto sextiles the moon once the moon goes into your 11th house in Pisces to Pluto in the earth sign of Capricorn, the other earth sign to you. And the other earth sign is Virgo down here in your 5th house. But anyway, you have, from the 9th to the 11th houses, you have this very pleasant sextile or 60-degree aspect or energy, as it's known as. So from your 11th house of friendships, you will be feeling emotionally pleasant concerning activities with and through your friendships, or maybe even create new friendships abroad in another country while on travels. And then on July 6th at 7 o'clock and 52 minutes, the last quarter moon happens in your 12th house of dreams and the subconscious mind in Aries at 14 degrees Aries, 15 minutes. So you could be coming to last moment terms in terms of your shedding light on something concerning your dreams. In other words, coming to some kind of conclusions. And then on the following day, July 7th at 7 o'clock, 10 minutes, your ruling planet trines the moon. So here, fire and fire, moon in Aries, harmoniously trining your ruling planet in Leo, in your 4th house of the home. So you might be able to harmoniously realize your dreams within your home. And that could be your spiritual home, your home base, that grounding. Then on July 9th, your ruling planet squares the moon once the moon goes into your sign, Taurus, which then proceeds to square or 90-degree angle your ruling planet, Venus, at 16:11, it's saying. No, at 16:59, 59 minutes, something like that. Anyway, that's all technical. So from the 4th house to the 1st house, emotionally, you'll be feeling good about yourself on the 9th. But yet, with this tension in this square angle to your ruling planet Venus, you will have a bit of, I don't want to say anxiety, but there might be some kind of tensions to overcome within, and be mindful of your neck, as Taurus rules the neck area of the body. Then on July 10th, your ruling planet finally leaves your 4th house and goes into your 5th house of romance and creativity, into your sister sign of Virgo. So with this planet ingress of your ruling planet for the month of July, you now have a very you'll now have the ability to very much practically and with common sense approach romance and love from a very grounded but yet practical standpoint. And that happened on July 10th, or will be happening on July 10th. Then on July 13th, the new moon occurs when it goes into your 3rd house of communications, joining along with the sun in Cancer. And now you have the ability to open up new pathways within your communications between neighbors and or siblings, and through short distance travels. You now have this newfound ability to express yourself, Taurus. And then and that happens at 20 degrees Cancer, 41 minutes. And then on July 13th as well, we will be having a partial solar eclipse. And whenever there's a new or full moon, because toward the end of the month we'll be having a full moon with the coinciding with the lunar eclipse? Well, here we have, on July 13th, a partial solar eclipse. And as I was pointing out just moments ago, this is going to be very big for you. Lots of changes in the way you express yourself, your inner being. New and lots of changes. Big, might I add, since your opposite or opposing sign is with Jupiter in Scorpio. So there is this play, as it, within the circle of life, and you'll see what I mean when we go through here. And so with this partial solar eclipse, there is great change within the third house of communications. Then on the following day, July 14th, Mercury conjuncts the moon. In your fourth house of the home. So now your mental capabilities and your mind and emotions are together, and you now have the ability to emotionally communicate expressly within the home. Then not that you wouldn't, but then on July 17th, the sun then sextiles the moon. Once the moon goes into Virgo, joining along with your ruling planet Venus, sextile. There's a beautiful, pleasant sextile between the sun and the moon on July 17th. So from the 5th to the 3rd houses, you now have the ability to emotionally express yourself with your romantic partner in a very loving but very grounded and practical, beautiful, almost otherworldly, as it's this beautiful reflection with Neptune over there being in Pisces, and then Venus now in Virgo. There's like the flavor there. Beautiful. Then on July 19th, there is a square between the sun and the moon. So now between your 6th house and your 3rd house of communications, you might want to be kind of careful with moon in Libra in your 6th house of health and work, with this tension producing but challenge to your communications within your workforce. You might want to be a little gentle with the coworkers and your superiors in terms of how you communicate. In other words, just because things were going well there prior, you don't want to whoa, okay, confidence boost too much, maybe the ego there. Then on also July 19th, the first quarter moon happens. In your 6th house. So then there's, again, with taking too much or charging forward too much with that square from your 3rd house of communications. Then finally, on July 22nd, the sun leaves Cancer and enters Leo into your 4th house of the home. Trining the moon once the moon goes into your 8th house, into Sagittarius, a fire sign, you'll now have a very harmonious trine. So maybe you'll get some kind of financial help from others, because this is the house of others' financial support, whereas this is your own independent ability to attain money and what you value. So you have, and that's your naturally residing house, Taurus. So now with this sun trining the moon, you may very well get some kind of harmonious backing in a financial way toward some kind of home improvement project, because this is the time of year for that. Then on July 24th, Mercury in Leo also, wait a minute, Mercury trines the moon, yeah. So now there's also a Mercury trine moon, so you'll also be very communicating very harmoniously with others within your home base. Then on July 26th, the moon then goes into your 9th house of law and higher learning and religion and philosophy, and conjuncts Pluto, both in Capricorn, in your 9th house. And what this can do for you is stabilize your emotions, where you can manifest something in a very transformational way. It's very, woo, you know? There's a lot of intensity there with a moon conjunct Pluto. It's as if you had Pluto in your 1st house. Then on July 27th, the full moon in your 10th house of career and ego and the public standing in Aquarius now creates, and that happens at 4 degrees Aquarius, 45 minutes. Now, as I said, there is also a lunar eclipse. Oh, and I guess I should keep that there because it's going to be an energy flow for the next 6 months or more. But now you have not only the full moon from your 10th to your 4th houses now, as a full moon is a figurative opposition, because if those born with their sun opposing their moon, that's, you know, an opposition. But it's, in this case, it's a figurative energy. And now, with a total lunar eclipse in your 10th house, this creates then changes, major changes, especially with this full moon in your 10th house of career, and especially since maybe you've needed a change. This will totally eclipse out or in This is an ending or a beginning. You may either be ending a career that you hate or that you don't really like anymore or that you don't find fulfilling, or you will uniquely be creating, excuse me, a new kind of career, especially since it may be done from your home base. And then, oh, shoot. By the way, Mercury went retrograde on July 26th. Why do I keep forgetting that? And Jupiter, which had been retrograde, now goes direct as well on July 26th. Then finally, on the final day of the month of July, Mercury, go figure, Mercury makes its opposition to the moon while it's probably still waning, you know. And being that it's now retrograde, you will want to keep a close eye on what you're reading and signing, you know, any kind of documents, any kind of contracts with and for and about career matters and about home matters. So this is an axis. All lunar eclipses come in pairs or opposing sun signs, and actually that, come to think of it, natally my prenatal eclipse, lunar eclipse, is in the 10th house in Gemini. How interesting. So with that said, Taurus, I really truly hope that you have a happy 4th of July and Independence Day. Enjoy your independence and love what you aspire to and who you are. By the way, watch out for sudden, you know, neck, not, I don't want to point out anything negative here, but like whiplashes, you know, like if you suddenly turn your head to look at something, watch out for things like that, as you do rule the neck area of the body and any kind of facial constructs. Actually, well, you might even do something to uniquely change your physical self, but don't do anything drastic, especially not with Mercury retrograde toward the end of the month. Don't do anything drastic like any kind of plastic surgery. However, with Uranus now transiting in your sign, Taurus, like I mentioned back in May, you will have a very unique and sometimes sudden ways of reinventing yourself. But just like I said, watch out for, you know, things regarding your vanity, as Venus rules things such as vanity and or the physical makeup of your body temple. So with that said, Taurus, I hope you enjoyed this interesting reading. The sun is now shining on my amethyst. I hope you'll have peace, tranquility, and freedom within your home, and the independence that it takes to manifest all of which I've been speaking about. And I hope you'll like, comment down below, and or subscribe. Thank you so much, and I will see you back here in August.